Woodpeckers, welcome back. Welcome back to Wood and Whiskey Wednesday. This is episode 28. I'm Steven. This is the shop. This week, we're making where it all started. Back to some ribbons. A lot of it has to do with time constraint. Got a couple of projects that I need to get done. They got deadlines. I still want to produce a really good video, and I love making them. So we're gonna go over a little bit of the process. Before we get started, though, we are back to the Jack Daniels single barrel. Can't go wrong. Again, very rushed week, trying to get back into the swing of things. Government finally got the head out of our ass. First one's always to you all. Second one was for me. A little bit of B-roll. I'm in my office. This is lunchtime. I've got a couple more minutes left. I do have my door closed, so nobody can see what I'm actually, doing. Sitting here talking to myself. I do want to show you these ribbons behind me of what we were making this week on the channel. How I display mine. So you see in my intros, I have an old set of ribbons behind my setup, and the stars, they're larger and curved to what we have now, which is very, very sharp, very, very nicely done. Whereas I used to use a Dremel and route it all down. It worked for what I needed it, and then I found a better way, not a safer way. You can see I continue to cut myself with my damn razor. But I normally do use my gloves that do save a lot of blood. I was just working really quick, doing not stars, but working with a razor this week, and decided to cut my thumb with it. It happens. But I don't know if you've never seen these in real life, if you actually know the size. They're quite large. So each one of the ribbons are 7 inches across by 2.5 inches tall with a 1/2 inch spacer. So you got 21 inches across. And you'll see me do some of the measurements through this video of how I make the frames for them. Each one of the same. Each one of the ribbons are, carefully marked out and painted. So we can do a continuing process over and over again. Stars, kind of like snowflakes. Not any two are exactly a match. And that's just different machines, different settings, different wood sometimes. But for the most part, they all look the same. They all come out pretty crisp. And then you finish it off with, I call it my silver name bar, and it could be literally whatever you want to put on there. The more letters you put on, the smaller the letters get. It's only 23 inches across and only about 20 inches of usable space for it. And I can make them, larger, but I think the way that these look, it sits underneath them perfectly. And the light just, makes it look like it isn't wood anymore. It looks like metal, but it actually 100% is wood. And you can see I've had these for a couple of years. They've gotten some smudges on them. I literally just moved these again this week to a new office. Some of you have more than one set, and I appreciate it. I do love them. I love making them. If you don't have a set, comment down below where you would put a set. We still have not figured out what we're going to do for next week's giveaway, or next month rather. Whether it's going to be Christmas, themed, or hell, it might even be, another set of ribbons. We already gave out a complete set of ribbons a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. One of them damn months. And they're hanging in an office right next to me. Because there was somebody that was local that commented and won. And that's how you do win. You're going to subscribe to the channel. And you've got to comment on any video throughout the month. And that'll put you in the drawing for next month's giveaway. Now, if you have an idea of what you want for next month's giveaway, put it in the comment. 2 birds, 1 stone. So my ribbons are 7 inches wide. So 3 of them going back down, 21 inches. All day long, same. So what I do need to do is build a backer for this. And it sort of resembles the plastic that you'd have on your regular ribbons. But with this being 21 inches, I do my frame to 20. And this one's 14, so my frame will be 14. I just take 1 inch off, do 1/2 inch on both sides. And it just, I don't know why I started that way. It's what we did with the first one, and it just stuck. You don't see the outline as much when you hang them that way. So I know that I need 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of these 20s. And I have a sneaky suspicion that this one's actually going to have another one on top, because it's for a retiring Marine. And I don't think they gave me all of his ribbons. But that will be an easy fix when it comes to, if there is another ribbon up top. It's a lot easier to add than to add one all the way down to the bottom, which people have asked in the past. Oh, I forgot about this one. Can you just move them? It's not like your plastic ones where you just slide them. They get tight bond glued down to wood. Can I move them? Absolutely. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy the entire piece and save what I can, and then have to redo ribbons for the majority of the ones that just get stuck and I can't knock them off. And literally take a hammer to them to try to knock them off the bat. Can be done. It's just a pain in the ass. That is too short to use to here. What I can use this little extra for is going to be the vertical part of the frame. All right, looks like I need 2 more. One more. So this is my 5, and then I need the 13 for here, whereas one more would only be a 6. And then I could use this as that, but we will make do what we got. There's 13.
It tastes like some good decisions. You'll see from a couple of clips. Not all decisions made this week were good. Some of them painful.
So we'll actually do some spacing in between, and I'll get out a jig that I made years ago. Still works perfect for me. But let's talk about the verticals. They'll be on the back like this, so they won't move around on you. Once they're in there, I'll do I'll glue these down to the horizontals. I'll brad nail a few of them in, and then I'll actually go back through with screws and tighten them all down. So once the frame is set, it is set. It is not moving. So this is that jig. I wish I would have wrote on the back when I made it, because literally I've had this for years. I want to say since the first one that I actually made for myself, that's hanging up, it came off of here. And I remember making the jig thinking, all right, so I can mass produce projects. And I am so glad that I did, because I can. Over the years, these furring strips have changed sizes. Sometimes I'll have to actually put them on the planer and plane down the sides. Other times they it's a tight fit and it works for what I need it to. I'm trying to square up the sides, and this one in the middle, it's actually going to be a pain in the ass for me because this one is too big, and I am going to have to clean it down. But with this one, I'll actually put little spacers underneath to hold it up proud. Top and top. I think, wrong way. There you go. So these spacers, sit up right about here. So when I do put it down and I'm gonna drill in, it doesn't move around on me. Like if there's only that one, it'd be like a teetering, a teeter-totter. But I am gonna have to take a little bit off of this one so it will sit well in here. With a quick little shave and a lot of sawdust, that is perfect. Dang. So with this odd one, I'm going to go down 4 from the side. 4 from the side here. Perfect. Now I got to get the measurements to do the verticals. And I will quickly just go down and eyeball it for the most part. I've got these lines that you can't see. So I've got these guidelines right down through here that I use that will come down slightly below or right above where the with ribbon stops, and that's so I can attach the silver hanging bar if you'd want to order one, when I'm making this, or if you go 2 months down the line and go, you know what, I think I really want that, can I add it? it's there and allows you to do that. So measure them out, eyeball them out, and then come back with a square. And adjust them so they are perfectly perpendicular. And then I'll just draw little lines on here just to see where they are, so when I pick them up and I put down the glue, I know exactly where they're going to go. You see how this keeps moving? I don't have the spacers underneath the right spot. I'm going to end up moving those before I do the glue up. Because I don't want that to keep popping up like that. Move these out. So I'm getting ready to finish up these two sets. And I realized I have enough larger stars cut out, but I'm low on smaller stars. What I do is I pre-cut a bunch of them. And then I just gotta go over to the scroll saw and cut them out, and then take them back and work with my nice little razor and hope I don't do that again. There's dried blood on my shop floor. Fun times. So before I can put these underneath the scroll saw, I've got to hit real fast with some sandpaper, and it's just to knock this down, the burrs that come up, to make it a little bit easier on me trying to cut. So this is the part I really like doing. This is the part I always get hurt on. But I'm gonna flip to a new side of the blade. And let it start getting in there. Now, years ago, I didn't use these gloves, and it seemed like I wouldn't go a month or two without ending up in the ER needing stitches. Did cut my thumb the other day with this razor, not doing stars though. And because I wasn't doing stars, I didn't have these gloves on. Now there's another guy that you can find online that started making ribbon sets. His devices aren't made from wood, whereas ours, everything is. Even down to like the hourglass that the Army uses. I make that out of wood. And the oak leaves. And the numerals. I think he might use a 3D printer. I'm not going to bore you with this. I am going to video it, but I'm going to put it in time lapse, because what I normally do is I'll have my iPad set up and I'll just watch videos. And this is going to take a couple hours. It's normally about 5 or 6 minutes per star. I'm going to get through these small ones, and I've got to get through a bunch of these big ones. for the 2 sets I have in front of me, and then one other one that I have waiting. I do believe I'm gonna have to make more small ones. I have to go back and count to see if this is gonna be enough. If not, I'm gonna fire up the machine. I've got some wood on there right now. After the stars, though, we're gonna do the hanging, the silver hanging bars. What I call it. I've never figured out a better name for it. Stay tuned though. It's pretty good. Pro tip: use pictures. I didn't always use pictures. I used to use a list and go down it, and then you realize you're 14 ribbons in. The second one was out of place. Never a good day, because then you got to rip up your entire work. So I actually have 3 of these running around the garage, just so I always have one around me. Handy little book. Lay out your. What I do is I lay out the ribbons. I got these little spacers that they sit proud of the vertical frame pieces. So when I go to put my spacers in, they don't sink down. I'm easily able to move them. And this is why you can always add a ribbon to the top. Like I said, I think what am I gonna have to do with that first, or the other set that I have to do this week. Like I said, what I think I might have to do to the other set this week is I may end up adding to the top, depending on if the retiring Marine gets a higher award than what they have right now, and I suspect that's going to happen. What sucks is if somebody forgets to tell me that they have a ribbon that goes here, because then I have to rip all of it up. But all of it is already glued down, and it's not. This isn't, your Elmer's glue that a little bit of heat and it'll go away. Titebond Ultimate Wood Glue is what that is. It's very tight. It bonds very well. It is the ultimate wood glue. Can I get them off? Yes. It normally takes a couple of different tools to do so. But it has happened. It'll happen again. It's just the nature of woodworking. So now I've already got this spaced out. We said it's 21 inches wide, and I've already cut these down to 20. I've got a 1/2 inch spacer on the side, so you don't see the frame when it's hanging. I mean, you can if you get up close to the side of it. We just put down and repeat. And there are slight variations with the wood. You can notice that this one's slightly smaller. I've probably had the MSG this specific ribbon in my shop for better half of a year, and it just so happened that that was one of the boards that I had cut, that it's not the same size as all the rest of them. But just like when you put your real ribbons on, and after a while they're not all the same size, especially the puck. Puck is, I had to change mine out. Like, you wear it twice and it's no longer good. So even though it's wood, it gives you that feel of, ribbons that you'd wear. Again, drop some spacers, hit it with some more wood. Now this is where the portion of it that you've got two options. Either I can go down and make sure that these are perfectly symmetrical when you place them on, much like your ribbons. But I've got a center line. I've got a center line. Ooh, what I don't have is a spacer. Whoa, that would have been bad. No. And just like you are putting these on, center. There's no center, but you can see that, that it is, if these are good, will be the center because they're all symmetrical. So we're gonna let this dry. This specific request, I only need one of them.
Remember, if you need a custom rack made, hit me up. Doubletwoodemporium.com. I'd be honored to build one for you, one for your family member, or even just a friend or a coworker. We've had people purchase them for that very reason. And friends, I think that's going to wrap up episode 28 of Wood and Whiskey Wednesday. I had a blast making ribbon sets. I have a few more orders I still have to finish up. I'm not going to show you the one that we just glued up because it's still wet. It still moves around. I got to let it dry. If it wasn't time constraint, I would love to, bring it. Hey, this is it. I'll put the old pictures right here. But you did see one of the first ones I made. You did see one of my newest ones. I love displaying my service. Hopefully you know somebody that wants to display theirs as well. Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force, and those new Guardians. I'll make them all. We do special ones for police departments. We do special ones for the state National Guards that have their own ribbons, which I didn't even know about until a couple years ago. But if they can send me the ribbon, I can match it with the colors. I can go through and make sure that the lines are spaced properly, make it look good. It's a great Christmas present. Plug. Go out to www.doubletswoodemporium.com. You get on there. Let me know how many ribbons you need. Send me a picture. I love pictures. I'm good with pictures. I could do a list too. I love making them for all services. Till next time, we are going to saw, then sand. We will sip, and that is delicious. So we will repeat. Bye, y'all.